Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Lord, the Sonic Views, and I watched the movie Cube from 2021. Before we start with that, it's also a Japanese version. But before we start with that, tomorrow you're gonna get Bear Fest and Night at the Roxbury. Finally gonna see that movie, finally. Instead of today, otherwise we did Bearfest today, but Bearfest is a 2-hour movie, and it's now 8 o'clock, and I still have to make dinner. So I thought let's do it tomorrow. But yeah, let's just start with the movie Cube. We see the door, with a wrench on it, just like in the first movie. In the original Cube movie. The wrench turns around, and the door opens. We look. We look inside, through the hall, because this is a short space, that you have to crawl through to get to the other door. It's not like like a thin wall, that you can punch through, and then immediately go to the other side. Now you have to a small space, and ventilation space, let's say, that you have to crawl through, to get to the other side. But we see on the left side, our left, we see an arm appear, and we then see somebody, look, it's a guy. He climbs a bit higher, and then he gets through. We zoom out very slowly, and he climbs through to the other side. He climbs down, and when he hits the ground, the door closes. He looks around while we're still zooming out, and then we're at the other side, and he stares at the door that's straight in front of him. But we're gonna leave it at that, because if you want to know what's going to happen next, watch the movie yourself. This movie is kind of a remake from the first movie. Only usually with a remake, you have mostly the same, It was the same story, yada yada yada. Well, this movie was a bit different, Yes, we still had colored rooms, which I liked, different traps, but the rooms itself looked definitely a bit different. And the traps were mostly different, which, is good. We got, some new kinds of traps that we haven't seen before, which was very interesting. But we didn't got a guy that is mentally handicapped, but we did got a kid. And this time it wasn't with astronomical numbers like in the first movie, but they kind of went with prime numbers. Like the first that that was the first guess that they did in the first movie. Oh, maybe it's the prime numbers that we have to follow, whatever it was. Um, but this movie did kick in. This movie did kick my horror movie theory in. It kicked in. Because somebody died around the 4-minute mark. No, it was the guy that we followed at first. And he got kind of a beam, and I don't mean beam me up, Scotty, or beam as pew 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 beam, but no, a beam as in kind of a bulk, um, an iron bulk, square, square, just pierced through, and then a square of his shirt, fell off, and then the square of his flesh, that was pierced through, just fell out, just a cube of his flesh, fell out of his chest, and you could see through it. That the effects were pretty nice, The CGI in this movie was pretty nice, I liked it. Apparently in this movie they also can only go forward. They, like you go into a room, and the door closes. Now you can't go back immediately through that door. If you want to go back to that room, you probably have to go up or down and then go around. So that was also interesting. Like, you can't go immediately back. So you basically only can go forward, which was interesting because, as far as I know, we didn't have that in the first movie. No, we didn't have that in the first movie because the handicapped guy, stayed behind in one of the rooms, because he didn't follow, and then somebody had to go back after the door also closed. So, this movie gave new twists to the movie, which is nice, which is nice. It didn't make it boring, because I know it's a remake, so I kind of was afraid, that I would get bored with this movie because, it would be just the same, only Japanese, But no, it had its own kind of twists to it, which, like I said, was pretty nice. I liked it. There was also a room where the color changed. That's also something we didn't have. And there was also a purple room that we also didn't have in the first movie. But we had, well, or the third movie, but come on, it's a remake of the first movie. We had a room that changed color, and there was also a guy, and when he got mad, the room was first, a bit more lightish blue, and when he got mad, the room started to change color, it went to orange, and then further to red, and then a trap was activated. Like, it worked on his emotion, it looked like, very interesting. And that happened also near the end, then too. But then the other guy, fought because he was the guy was killing somebody else. He was strangling somebody else, and when the guy that he was strangling, fought back, at first the room was red, turned red after he was strangling him, but when he fought back, the room suddenly changed back to its original color, which was kind of interesting but weird, like, I don't know why it happened, but how it happened, it was an interesting twist that they put on the movie, but I still don't fully know what the meaning behind the room changing color was, yeah, that's basically it. I definitely enjoyed this movie, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed this movie. There's no buts or something else, It's just a good movie. I definitely enjoyed this one more than the third movie. Um, yeah, and yeah, I probably enjoyed this one a bit more than the first movie also, because it's just new content, because everything about this movie was basically new, because I haven't seen it yet, and the first movie I've seen twice before watching it this time on the channel. Um, but for some reason I think it lays a bit evenly with the second movie, or maybe just slightly above the second movie but under the first movie. Um, yeah, it was just a very good movie. So I give this one a high 4, low 5. It's just a good movie. Go watch the movie yourself. Leave likes, recommend a good Japanese movie down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my second channel, Underdog Eats, where the food streams every week. Content and monsters, and also on my third channel, Underdog Reacts, where I do primarily music. Link down below in the description. And see you guys next time. Bye.